I track every single expense in my business, every penny, and I review it monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And what I've learned is that most videographers are ultimately spending money on the wrong things. Today, I'm going to break down where that money goes, what surprised me, and what I'd change if I was starting over from scratch. If you're new around here, hello, my name is Ollie. To date, I'm 5 years deep in the game with the ambition of growing a world-class video production company. I've worked with clients all over the UK and the US and the UAE, so with all the social proof bullshit out the way, I have nothing to sell you here. No course, no LUTs, no links in my description. The only reason I make these videos is because I wish that someone told me this when I was first getting started. So if you find it helpful at any point, then just share it. That's all I ask. That's how this thing grows. And if you're not tracking your expenses properly, or you're spending money without knowing if it's actually helping your business or not, then this is the video for you. By the end of this video, you'll know where to focus your spending and what the right things are to cut. So let's get into it. So first off, why do I even track this stuff in the first place? If you don't know where your money is going, then you can't make smart decisions, right? It's as simple as that. I review the expenses monthly, quarterly, and annually, not weekly, because that's too close to the data, right? You need distance to see patterns. And what I've found is that most people, they spend money emotionally. They're not strategic. They buy gear because it's exciting. They sign up for software that they'll never use, right? They waste money on things that don't move the needle. So what I wanted to know is what actually matters, right? Where does the money go? And what would I do differently if I was starting over from scratch? So where does our money actually go? For me, the two biggest expense categories are subcontractors and travel. Subcontractors obviously is labor, which is by far our biggest expense. And that makes sense because we are a service-based business, right? We're paying people to do the work. Travel is our second biggest expense, especially for international projects, right? Flights, hotels, transport, all of it adds up super fast. And then after that is software, insurance, admin costs, and gear. And here's the thing. Gear used to be a way bigger expense for me because I thought that I needed to own everything. And what surprised me the most is that I used to invest money into kit with no return, right? I'd buy a camera or a lens and then it would just sit there, right? Not getting used, not making me any money. And I realized that I can actually just rent any gear that I need and price it into the job, right? I don't need to own it. This is about understanding gross versus net margins. And yeah, renting the gear does cost money, but it means that I'm not tying up cash in equipment that depreciates and might not even get used. Now, I only buy gear if it's getting used really regularly and ultimately paying for itself. Anything else is rented. And this was a big shift for me, and it freed up a lot of capital to invest in things that actually mattered within the business. So if I had to completely start over from scratch, then I would cut everything to do with gear. I'd rent everything that I needed unless I absolutely needed to own it. And I'd also cut any software or subscriptions that I'm not using every single day. It's so easy to sign up for things and forget about them now, and it all just adds up over a month. And I'd be way more selective about the projects that I took on because some projects end up costing you money, travel, time, stress, and they're just not worth it. So what would I invest more in? I'd invest more in mentorship, knowledge, skills, not equipment, right? The best money that I've ever spent is on learning, whether it's a mentor or a course or a book or whatever. That's what moves the needle because gear, it doesn't make you a better business owner. It doesn't help you close sales. It doesn't help you manage a team. It doesn't help you build systems, right? Knowledge is that. Skills does that. Mentorship does that. So if you're deciding where to spend your money, invest in yourself first. The gear can wait. So this all sounds great, but how do you actually track this? Well, you need to get a giant, boring spreadsheet and track things religiously. I track things on a weekly basis and I review it monthly, quarterly, and yearly. I look for patterns, where the money's going, what's giving a return, what's not giving a return, and you have to be honest with yourself. If you're spending money on something that isn't helping the business grow, then you need to cut it. Your business will thank you for it in the long run. Look, tracking expenses isn't sexy, but it's probably one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner. If you don't know where your cash is going, then ultimately you can't make smart investment decisions, and smart investment decisions are what separate successful businesses from the ones that are stuck in this kind of hamster wheel. So start tracking, start reviewing it regularly, and ultimately just cut the stuff that doesn't matter. If this was helpful, then subscribe. I post every week on the real side of video production. There's no fluff, there's just what actually works. Feel free to check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and I will see you very soon. Take care.